liberation is not a thing. It is the beginning of a thing. So we didn't really get liberated in 1976. We started the liberation.
There are still struggles and there are still fights that are still being fought, even now by students. Issues of jobs, issues of entrepreneurship and everything.
What message, as we're celebrating Youth Day, would you like to give to young people who feel hopeless about the future?
Be everywhere. Move up early.
Let's have a lifelong learning mindset. Learning at Univen only does not mean it's done.
Now is our time to rise. Now is our time to make sure that we knock every door. Let's not be scared. Let's not be shy. Let's have confidence so that we can be a progressive youth.
Young people need to wake up and take advantage of every opportunity that arises. Take advantage of institutions like University of Venda.
Good day and welcome to the Youth Dialogue right here at the University of Venda. Today, we reflect on 50 years of youth impact under the theme Reset at 50. A critical look at where we are, where we've been, and where we are going. My name is Wabo Makaga and I'm going to be your moderator for the day. We're talking about the challenges, the opportunities and the possibilities while creating future leaders right here at the University of Venda. Joining me is a panel that comprises of leaders who are actively shaping the future. Gentlemen, good day and welcome to the dialogue. If you may please start introducing yourselves.
Good day. My name is Donald Morema. I am the Economic Activations Manager in the Directorate of Community Engagement, Entrepreneurship, Inclusive Innovation and Commercialization in the University of Venda. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. My name is 𝐘𝐨𝐿𝐴, and I'm the chairperson of postgraduate students. Thank you.
Good afternoon, colleagues. My name is Masiti Wudiao, citizen, the current SRC Minister of Gender and People Living with Disabilities.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is 𝐘𝐨𝐮𝐭𝐡 Kamuzi, the SRC Minister of Health, Safety and Security.
I would like us to start with our conversation. We are marking 50 years in 2026. How do you guys interpret the legacy of 1976 looking at today's student experience?
Thank you. For me, well, firstly, I can't believe it's been 50 years. It's quite a long. And secondly, I don't think we would be having this if 1976, June 16 didn't happen. But I do want to say that June 16 marks liberation. Even though the voting was in 1994, but June 16 marks the actual liberation. I also want to remind us and the youth of today that liberation is not a thing. It is the beginning of a thing. So we didn't really get liberated in 1976. We started the liberation. It's a journey. It's a continuation until we drop. But it does provide a good environment for us to engage, to create and co-create. That is why today we have SRC that can dictate the terms of how they want to learn and how they want to develop themselves. So for me, it was a beginning of a journey that is yet to be discovered where it's taking us. Yeah.
I would like to direct this question to the chairperson of the postgraduate committee. Would you say that you believe that today's youth actually carry the same level of activism and agency?
I would say yes, because even now there's still issues that our students are still facing. They still have that hunger in them to change in terms of jobs, entrepreneurship. They are still fighting for things that are affecting them on a day-to-day basis. So I feel like the hunger is still there, and we should also appreciate the fact that even now we're able to get free education, we are able to get sponsors, but then still, there are still struggles and there are still fights that are still being fought, even now by students. Issues of jobs, issues of entrepreneurship and everything. So I think the fight is still going and the fight will never end. Yeah.
Yeah. Talking about the fight, the struggles, what are some of the most pressing challenges that students at the University of Venda are currently facing today?
One of the struggles and things that are being faced by the students currently is the issue of academic exclusion, issues of funding. Students are not all students are getting funding. Not all students are getting funding on time. Others, they are getting funding, but then they're not getting paid on time. Other students can get funding at the beginning of the year, and then they get paid around May, June, July. So during those months, students will be struggling. Students will be going through tough times, making sure that they get something to eat. Others, they can't even stay on campus. Others, they're staying at places where it's far. They have to walk every day to come here and on campus. So I think there's still a lot of things that are happening here, and there's still a lot of things that are actually affecting the students.
Yeah, you guys, as you are here, you are the Student Representative Council. So we can look at you guys and say you are the student leadership at the moment to the University of Venda. How would you say you are responding to the issues that you've mentioned? Issues of financial inclusion, exclusion, issues of inequality and safety, like you just explained now.
Yeah, the one of funding, we always make sure that each and every day or every week, when I'm in internet, I try to search for bursaries under this qualification, bursaries that fund this qualification. And when I found maybe 2 or 3 that are open, I share, I post it with hope that someone will find it, they apply, and they get funded. And then as the one of inequality, we always report to the relevant offices. I work closely with the protection service. So if there are cases, we report there, and then they take actions against that person who's violating the law. That's it.
Yeah. So I can hear that there's much emphasis on the issue that the struggle is continuing. You know, just because June 16 happened, 1976 happened, does not mean that the youth and the students today are not experiencing difficulties. Do you guys, as the Student Representative Council, believe that students feel adequately represented and heard, especially in decision-making processes?
I would say they are heard and in terms of decision making, because because this university, one thing we should understand about the university is that it's a student-centered university, meaning that every decision and every engagement that the university make, it will affect the students. So whatever that the university is doing, the main core is the students. So in everything that they're doing, students are the ones that are actually being represented, because at the end of the day, everything comes back to the student. Everything comes back to the students. And in all the meetings that we go to, ours is to raise the voice of students, to say, how will this benefit the student? And if they're making a policy, if they're amending a policy or reviewing a policy, we'll ask them, how is this thing affecting a student? Because at the end of the day, we'll come back to the students and we have to report to them, or no. From the meeting that we had, we were able to address this issue and this issue that will benefit students. So that is how we are making sure that the voice and the problems of students, they are heard in every single table and every single decision making in the university.
Yeah. When we are talking about the theme for the year 2026 in celebration of Youth Day, we're talking about the issue of resetting. And when we talk about resetting suggests change. What urgent change do you think is needed at this point in time, looking into the issue of resetting education or resetting just, the youth development sector?
Yeah, I think on that one, the changes that we want, I think as the institution here, we just have to empower more youth, to empower them to take their studies more serious. As you know that previously, back then, 1976, education was being used as a tool of oppression. So now, as youth, we must take this education that's being offered as a tool of liberation. I think that's what we must do as the youth, and take our studies very serious. Yeah.
As the youth or youth of today, I think the only thing that we must check on or we must dwell much on is going on the sector of entrepreneurship, because I do understand and I do get it, or education is very much important, but if you can check, we have a lot of unemployed graduates. So to minimize that, I think it's best we try to become entrepreneurship and focus on that sector. So another thing, this thing of unemployment, the rate is very high. So I think we better go out and look for the job maybe in other countries, because here in South Africa it's tough. So with that being said,
So when we talk about resetting, we must also be able to change the curriculum of the studies. But now the same curriculum that has been taught in 2005 or in 2001 or in 1999 is still being taught even now in high schools. So resetting now means that we must change the curriculum of high schools, universities, and other institutions, because we're all learning things that are not even that much impactful, or that are not even much benefiting the economy in any way. I think for the first thing that we need to do, we need to change the curriculum of the studies. Curriculum must be changed. Whatever that the learners and whatever that the graduates and whatever that students are being taught must be changed. Because whatever that they're being taught, most of the things that they're being taught, it's not really that much impactful. It doesn't even assist one to go out there and do something on his own. And also the issue of policy. I think policies that must be reviewed. Every policy must be able to assist and affect a graduate or a student. In the university, we must make sure that we go and review policies. Every policy must make sure that students must be there. A policy must talk or no. Here, here, we must make sure that students are going to be hired in this and this and this and in this issue. So I think policies that must be reviewed so that we can be able to assist our graduates. Because there's no way that my manager can be holding a diploma and I'm doing my master's. And it's happening in every institution. It's happening in municipalities, and it's happening everywhere. You'll find that you have a director who has a diploma or a grade 9, but then when as a graduate, you're holding your master's, and you're an intern for more than 5 years. So I think those things that must be looked into. There must be a thorough in investigation and checking of those things to say no. You can't be a manager who's having a grade 9 or a diploma or a certificate only, while you're leading a huge number of interns that are having masters and PhD or honors and degrees. That is wrong. And there are other policies here that are not even supporting graduates at all. So I think we must go back and go back to the drawing board. Resetting means that we must go back to look at policies. We must go back and look at the curriculum of the study, and whatever that the students are being taught, we must go back and look at curriculum. Is this thing that students are being taught, how is it affecting them? How is this degree assisting a student? How is this degree going to assist a student, and how is it benefiting a student? Even if a student does not get a job, Mara, through this degree, can a student actually can he employ himself through this degree? Can he go and do something on his own with this degree now? So I think resetting means we should just go back and look at those things. Curriculum, what is our students being taught? Crèche, grade 1, primary, high school, university, we should check those things. Or are we being taught the right things now? Because we can't be crying about unemployment, but still, whatever that students are being taught, how it's not even assisting anyone in any way. So thank you.
Yeah. Mr. Marema, there was a mentioning of entrepreneurship, and I am of the understanding that you're coming from the Economic Activation Office, if I'm not mistaken. Would you say at this point in time, the young people, specifically the University of Venda and South Africa as well, would you say that they're embracing entrepreneurship enough, or do you still feel that there are barriers that are holding them back?
Yeah, so yes, they are embracing it, but sometimes for the wrong reasons. When they've hit the wall in terms of job hunting, they fall back to entrepreneurship. And you spoke about resetting, and that is where we need to start. And the bulk of our work is literally, that's why we're not called entrepreneurship activation, we are economic activation. The gentlemen were talking about plugging students and graduates with employment opportunities. And one of the issues that we need to break is silos, because they are doing that, and our work in economic activation. So our work is to make sure that young people in the communities are activated economically. And the economics of things is not just entrepreneurship, it's also job opportunities, including opportunities leading to job. So if we find that you are not employable, we must plug you with an education program that will lead you to become employable. If you can't find a job, we must plug you with an opportunity to start one for yourself. So it's a value chain. everyone is a player in the value chain, but we don't know. You just think you're SRC, you are not connected to me. But literally, we are doing the same thing. All of us want the success of the students and the communities. So yes, young people are embracing entrepreneurship, but for the wrong reasons, as a hustle mentality, which is good. But if you don't understand the space of entrepreneurship, you don't know which path and journey to take. You just take whatever you find. And often humanity is influenced by what we see. When we see people who are seen as entrepreneurs driving big, that's what we want. But we don't understand how the journey of entrepreneurship is. And you also spoke about barriers. We can't deny those. There are barriers that are man-made. We make them so that we can gatekeep, so that we can benefit alone in the system. So that is also a problem where the system doesn't really allow us to freely participate. So removing those barriers need us to understand where are we, what do we have, how do we package our solutions, and then how do we then move forward. And we have to continue resetting. Yeah.
Yeah. So how would you say at this point in time, looking at your office and the work that you do, how would you say the University of Venda aligns its strategy and its work with the issue of youth development and also leadership?
A good start that the university has done was to put in the strategy, in the strategic thrust of the university. There's a key outcome 6 under strategic thrust 2, and that is to become entrepreneurial university. So that is at governance and decision making level. But now we need to take that strategy and translate it. That means we need to break it down. And that's where your question comes in. Leadership is leadership, entrepreneurial leadership. So we need to have leadership in the institution that is entrepreneurial, that think like business people. And nowadays, when we define entrepreneurship, we no longer talk about starting ventures and starting business. We talk about value creation. So an entrepreneurial leader is a leader who always think about the value that comes out of everything that they do. So if you lead students, whatever action that you take, what is the value that students that you lead can draw out of that? Then you are already in entrepreneurship. So we need to translate to leadership who are entrepreneurial, and then youth or students that are entrepreneurial. So the university is in the right direction and the right path. But I don't think we understand it fully and embrace it fully. But we have started correctly with the strategy and we're breaking it down. So right now, the development is sitting in small pockets. But if we combine forces, we can start to see the distance that we've covered and see the distance that we still need to cover.
You talk of the issue of employability and also students being people of value, graduates with value. How would you now say the University of Venda is preparing students for employability and also entrepreneurship?
Well, as I said, every bit of a pocket is doing a part of that. He sits in the postgraduate committee, and sitting there, he can be able to look back at what their qualification development is going like, and where do they go when they graduate from postgraduate. And working with him from different directorates that we have. So firstly, in our directorate, our work is precisely to connect the community with opportunities, the students with opportunities. So currently there are different directorates that are doing work. Every faculty has the responsibility to do community engagement. That means they need to take students and connect them with the real world of what they are studying for. That makes them connect what they are studying with where they are going. And they start to have a perspective of the world that they're preparing themselves for. So that is the work that the university is doing in terms of making sure we don't just learn to know what is inside the university, but also know what's happening out there.
Yeah. What would you say defines a future leader in today's South Africa? And would you say that universities are doing enough to produce leaders and not just graduates?
Yeah, no, that's a tough one. Yeah, that's a tough one. What to me a future leader is one that firstly does not deny where they come from, does not deny where they are, and has a full understanding of the future they are talking about. One of the mistakes that happened in 1976 is because old people did not want to listen to young people. And that trajectory is still happening even today. A lot of us who have got no future are leading people in that future. And we deny the past and we deny where we are. We are not honest about the challenges at hand. We mollycoddle them and sugarcoat them so that we can look good, because I might look useless as an economic activation manager if I don't package myself as a success. So as a result, I will shield and hide the current status quo and the challenges so that I am not able to address them. So that is a future leader for me. If you can master the three, you will then be able to create a path. But you can't do that alone as well. You still have to work with others. That's where collaboration comes in. And yes, the university is a good environment and platform for that to happen. But it must be cultivated as a culture. There's a writer who said, culture eats strategy for breakfast. So we can have nice, beautiful strategic thrusts and strategic objectives, but if the culture is rotten, that strategy is not going anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely understandable. I'd like to extend the question to the Student Representative Council members as to what defines a future leader in today's South Africa for them. And do they believe that our universities doing enough to produce leaders and not just graduates leaving the institution?
Yeah, thank you. To me, a leader, I define a leader as someone who doesn't see a problem and stress. A leader is someone who sees a problem or face a challenge and come up with solutions. And what I can say is that the University of Venda is doing very well in producing leaders. If you check, we have many products of University of Venda out there. They are shining. Check National Parliament. We have Ronald Lamula, Minister. We have Mandla Shukwambani, Member of Parliament. Even here, we have Shai, HOD, Student Governance. They are doing very well. And if you check all of them, they used to be leaders of this university. So leading start here, and leading in University of Venda is a privilege. I can repeat that. Leading in University of Venda is a privilege, because when you go out there, you get many opportunities, and we shine using the experience that we get from here. And that's all because this university, they make sure they don't gatekeep anything from us as leaders. They include us in each and every process. Yeah.
So today we're talking about resetting and reset at 50. When we talk about reset, we did agree that resetting requires change. If you had the power to implement one change immediately, what would it be?
The change that I was going to make, the first thing I was going to reset or to come with a new policy or to implement a new policy. If you can check when it comes to job opportunities, youth are struggling to be employed. So as a leader, I was going to change the policy and implement another one, which might say, those who are 50 and above, they can retire at that age. Because if you can check, we have young graduates. Yeah, I think we're all graduates here. Yeah, even me. Yeah, so we're very young, and we need to get jobs. So for us to get jobs, which means we must remove those ones who are old in the sector, so that us as a young and energetic youth can enter to that particular job. So that's the research that we must also focus on. We must change the age limit of those people who are there. If we can check, there are a lot of offices that most of the people are around almost 60, but they're still there working. So we must stop with those things. Yeah, we must reduce it to 50. Once you reach 50, you must go eat your pension, so that young people can be employed.
Now, the first change that I would make will start in parliament. Those ministers, parliamentarians, they're getting a lot of money. They're getting a lot of money, and most of the money, we don't even know where it goes. How can those people, they're public servants. The first change now would do is to cut half of their salary. But they're saving the South Africa as a whole. But there's someone is earning 2 million, but then they're not even doing anything. And the issue of accountability, we have to make sure that municipalities are being held accountable, because you'd be a director of a municipality, or you'd be a mayor of a certain region, but then you're not even doing anything. You led 5 years, but then you never brought change towards the community that you are in. So I think change must start through these municipalities, these mayors that are being selected under certain regions and under certain provinces, to account through your office as a mayor, through your office as a premier. What change did you do to the youth, to the communities around where you have been located? So change will start there, to make sure that people are being held accountable for their high positions that they're having, so that graduates and the youth can find expression in terms of jobs and other things, because these people, they're not being held accountable. So accountability will not, the only change that I'll bring forward, or a policy that I'll bring forward, is a policy of accountability. It must be very, very, very held, like it must be in bold letters if now was to bring change. But people must be held accountable. Yeah.
Yeah. I would like your responses on this last question to be as brief as possible. What message, as we're celebrating Youth Day, would you like to give to young people who feel hopeless about the future?
From me, I think young people need to wake up and take advantage of every opportunity that arises. Take advantage of institutions like University of Venda. Take advantage of activities and services that we offer. And don't wait for opportunities to come to you. Go to them. We have an attitudinal issue of young people who want services to come to them. They can't wake up and go to NYDA, go to SITFA, go to LEADER. They can't go there. They want the services to come to them. So we need to wake up and go.
My message to the youth is to say that don't lose hope. It's tough, I know, but then you never lose hope. It's a digital world. Make use of it. Let's embrace AI. We're living in a new era now. It's AI everywhere. Let's embrace AI. Let's have a lifelong learning mindset. Learning at Univen only does not mean it's done. Let's make use of AI automation. Let's make sure that we learn, continue learning, have a lifelong learning mindset, to say that I understand that I have a degree, I understand that I have a master's, but there's still other platforms, there's still other courses that you can take. There's a lot of academies that are happening online. Be part of something, be part of a group. Don't just leave Univen and go home and sit with your family. Join something, join a community. There's a lot of communities at Facebook. AI is making the world to be so connected. You can connect with people from outside of the country, outside Africa. So let's make sure that we embrace AI. Let's make sure that we learn. Let's make sure that we don't just be sitting in a corner and waiting for something to come to you. Get up and learn. Get up and join something. Be part of something. Like that, you will be making your life to be meaningful. Like that, you'll even be fulfilling. I understand there's no jobs, but then just be part of something. Like that, you'll be fine. Thank you.
what I can say to youth, now is our time to rise. Now is our time to make sure that we knock every door. We go and look for job. No job can just come to you. Let's go out and make sure that we come with those jobs. And the thing is, let's not be scared. Let's not be shy. Let's have confidence so that we can be a progressive youth.
Yeah, what I can say is that youth, go out there, go and shine. You know, you have a degree. Go to your workplace and volunteer. Don't wait for them to release a post. Go and volunteer. Be everywhere. Move up alling. Make sure you participate. Politics everywhere. You don't know where is your opportunity. You don't know what's waiting for you out there. So go out there, be everywhere. Your victory is there, is waiting for you. Thank you.
I think that concludes our conversation for the day, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us. Reset at 50 is not just a reflection. It is rather a commitment to action, a commitment to transform challenges into opportunities, and also to shape, or rather to create leaders who are going to redefine tomorrow. From the University of Venda, this was the Youth Dialogue. Happy Youth Day. Thank you.